Because of people smoking here.
This was entirely due to tobacco smoke in the office.
Chain smoking in offices, restaurants, and other indoor public spaces. In the 1970s, smoking indoors was everywhere. Offices, restaurants, and even airplanes had smoke-filled air. It was just part of normal daily life. Health concerns and changing social norms has led to smoking bans in public places. Laws were created to protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke. These bans have greatly improved public health, and indoor environments are now cleaner and more pleasant for everyone. No more smoky rooms or smelling like a cigarette after a meal out.
It's not just another video game, it's a real Atari.
Playing Pong on a home television console. Pong, one of the earliest video games, was a huge hit in the 1970s. It was simple, with just 2 paddles and a ball, but it captivated many players. Video game technology has advanced dramatically since those days. Today's games are far more complex with stunning graphics and complicated storylines, and Pong's simplicity just can't compete with modern gaming. It's now a nostalgic antique, reminding us of the humble beginnings of the gaming industry, and while today's games may offer a more rich experience, Pong holds a special place in gaming history for its role in starting it all.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Wearing leisure suits publicly. Leisure suits with their bold colors and wide lapels were a fashion staple in the 1970s. They were everywhere. From discos to business meetings, they symbolized the era's unique style. Fashion trends have evolved and leisure suits have fallen out of style, being replaced by more stylish clothing choices. People moved on to more modern and versatile outfits. Today, these suits are mostly seen at retro-themed events, serving as a fun nod to a bygone era, while bringing back memories of the 70s for those who have lived through it, offering a glimpse of past trends for younger generations. Fashion has definitely changed though, but what about technology? Watching TV via rabbit ears antenna. In the 1970s, rabbit ears antennas were essential for watching television. They had to be adjusted constantly to get a clear picture, and it was a common sight to see people tampering with them to improve reception. Cable and digital streaming have taken over these days. Modern services offer better reception and a wider range of channels, eliminating the need for manual adjustment. Today's viewers enjoy clearer pictures and more content options without the hassle of adjusting an antenna, and the convenience and variety of cable and streaming services have revolutionized the way that we watch TV, making the old rabbit ears a thing of the past. From adjusting antennas to swiping cards, we now have a look at another big change: using manual credit card imprinters. Manual credit card imprinters, often called knuckle busters, were once essential for taking card payments. The merchant would place the card in the machine, swipe a paper slip over it, and it imprinted the card's details. Electronic card transactions have made these imprinters obsolete. Digital systems are faster, more secure, and more convenient for both customers and businesses. Transactions are now smoother and much more efficient. The shift to electronic payments has enhanced the shopping experience, making it quicker and easier to make a purchase. The days of manually imprinting card details are long gone, having been replaced by swift and digital transactions. Payments are so easy now, but what about music?
Thanks to Superscope's built-in 8-track recorder player, I'll always have a tape of her honeyed voice. I may never find the girl.
Listening to 8-track tapes. 8-track tapes were a popular way to listen to music in the 1970s. They were found in homes and vehicles, providing hours of entertainment with their distinctive chunky format. Cassette tapes and then later CDs and digital music would replace the 8-track. These newer formats offered better sound quality and more convenience, making it easier to enjoy music on the go. Music lovers now have more portable and higher quality options for enjoying their favorite tunes. From cassette tapes to streaming services, the evolution of music formats has transformed how we listen to our favorite songs. 8-tracks are now a thoughtful reminder of a vanished era in music.
Out Betamax is automatically videotaping my favorite show for me to play back when I get home.
Watching movies on Betamax. Betamax was an early home video format that competed with VHS. It was popular for a brief time in the 70s, offering a way to watch movies at home. Betamax lost the format war to VHS though, which became the standard for home video. Eventually, DVDs and digital streaming would take over, offering even better quality and convenience. The evolution of video formats led to easier access to movies and better picture quality, and today we can stream films instantly from a vast library of options, making Betamax tapes a nostalgic memory of how home entertainment began. Using lead-based paint. Lead-based paints were commonly used in homes and buildings in the 1970s, providing a durable and vibrant finish that many homeowners preferred. But health concerns about lead poisoning led to a ban on lead-based paints in the 70s. Exposure to lead can cause serious health issues, especially in children, prompting the need for a more safe alternative. Safer alternatives have been developed, reducing the risk of health problems related to lead exposure. Modern paints are now lead-free, ensuring safer living environments for families and communities. The ban on lead-based paints marked a significant step forward in public health and safety. Lead paint is out for good, but now let's dive into car changes.
Hey, Georgia! Who's that?
Oh, just a girl from work.
Driving large, low-mileage cars. In the late 1970s, large cars with low fuel efficiency were popular. These vehicles were big and comfortable, but consumed a lot of fuel. The oil crisis of the 70s prompted a shift towards more fuel-efficient vehicles. Environmental concerns would play a significant role, pushing the auto industry to develop cars that use less fuel. Modern cars are more eco-friendly and cost-effective, helping to reduce the carbon footprint. And today, we have a wide range of fuel-efficient vehicles, including electric and hybrid options that make driving much more sustainable. The changes have led to a cleaner environment and better fuel economy for drivers. Are you enjoying the nostalgic ride? Well, keep watching till the last thing on our list, because it's the most surprising one that you shouldn't miss out on.
Remarkable new book, The Random House Encyclopedia. One volume of the world's basic knowledge.
Reading encyclopedias for research. Encyclopedias were a primary source of information for students and researchers in the 70s. They provided comprehensive, though sometimes outdated, knowledge on a wide range of topics. And these heavy volumes filled many home libraries and school shelves. The internet and digital databases offer more current and accessible information. Online resources are constantly updated, providing the latest data and research instantly. The ease of searching online has made physical encyclopedias nearly obsolete. Research is now faster and more efficient, with up-to-date data available at our fingertips. Students and professionals can access a wealth of information from anywhere, enhancing their learning and productivity. The shift to digital has also saved space and reduced the need for bulky book collections. From books to phones, we now see how communication tools have evolved. Milk delivery to homes. Having milk delivered to homes was a daily routine for many families in the past. Early in the morning, milkmen would leave fresh bottles of milk on doorsteps, ensuring that households had a constant supply of this essential staple. This service was more than just a convenience. It was a reliable way to get fresh, local dairy products directly from the farm to the table. Families often had designated milk boxes or crates where the milkman would place the bottles, and empty bottles would be left up for collection and reuse. This system not only ensured freshness but also promoted sustainability through the reuse of glass bottles. The arrival of the milk delivery was a familiar and comforting sight, symbolizing the start of a new day. It also provided a personal touch, as milkmen often knew their customers and their specific preferences, creating a sense of trust and community. While modern supermarkets and convenience stores have made daily milk delivery largely obsolete, the tradition holds a nostalgic charm. It represents a time when daily routines were simpler and communities were more closely knit, with services tailored to meet the needs of local residents.
An extension phone here will save you countless steps every day.
Using rotary phones. Rotary phones with their distinctive dialing mechanism were a household staple in the 1970s. Dialing a number involved rotating the dial to each digit, a process that took a bit of time and patience. Touch-tone phones and then later smartphones would replace the rotary phone. These recent devices are more convenient and feature-rich. With touch-tone phones, dialing became faster and easier, and smartphones took it even further, offering texting, emailing, and a wide range of apps. Communication is now quicker and more versatile. We can connect instantly through various methods, whether it be a call, a text, or an email. Smartphones have revolutionized how we communicate, making it more efficient and multifaceted. The shift from rotary phones to modern devices marks a significant technological advancement. Phones have transformed communication, but what about online communities?
And I have finally set up a bulletin board system in my basement that runs on my computer when I'm not using the machine.
Dial-up bulletin board systems, or BBS. BBS were early online meeting places where users could share messages and files. They operated over dial-up connections, requiring a phone line and a modem to connect. Users would log in to read and post messages, download files, and participate in discussions. The internet has replaced BBS, offering faster and more user-friendly platforms for online communication. With the advent of the World Wide Web, forums, and social media, BBS has become outdated. Modern internet forums and social media provide richer and more interactive online experiences. And today, we can connect with people worldwide instantly, share multimedia content, and engage in real-time conversation. The shift from BBS to modern internet platforms has revolutionized how we communicate and interact online, making it much more accessible and dynamic. We've seen the dawn of online communities. Let's discuss social shifts next.
Hey, can I see if my key fits your lock? The goal is, if your key fits the lock, you scream and yell, everybody gets really excited.
Attending key parties. Key parties were a symbol of 70s swinger culture. They involved the exchanging of keys and partners at social gatherings. Couples would place their keys in a bowl, and at the end of the night, they'd pick a random set of keys to determine their partner for the evening. Changes in social norms and perceptions have made such practices less common. The sexual revolution of the 70s evolved into more diverse and complex views on relationships and intimacy. Attitudes towards relationships and social activities have evolved, reflecting a more broad societal change. Today, people are more open to different forms of relationships, but activities like key parties are rare and often viewed as a curiosity of the past. The shift highlights how societal norms and values continue to transform over time. Social norms have shifted. Up next, we'll talk about typing.
And get it out immediately, please.
Yes, ma'am.
The Olivetti girl types on an Olivetti Electric, the typewriter with the brain inside that makes the format.
Typing on electric typewriters. Electric typewriters were a significant improvement over manual ones, making typing faster and less tiring. They offered smoother keystrokes while reducing the physical effort that was required to produce documents. Personal computers and laptops have replaced the typewriter for document writing. These modern devices offer far greater functionality, including word processing software with advanced features. Writing and editing documents are now more efficient, with features like spell check, easy formatting, and the ability to save and share files digitally. The transition from typewriters to computers has revolutionized the way that we create and manage documents, making the process faster, more accurate, and highly versatile.
Emerald City, dedicated to imagination, committed to the pursuit of pleasure.
Going to the discotheque. Discotheques, with their flashing lights and disco music, were the nightlife hotspot of the 1970s. People would flock to these clubs to dance the night away to the infectious beats of disco. Nightlife trends have evolved, and while clubs do still exist, the specific disco culture, with its distinct style and music, has faded away. Modern nightlife now features a variety of music genres and club experiences. Modern clubs offer a diverse range of music and experiences, catering to different tastes and preferences. The evolution of nightlife reflects broader changes in music and cultural trends. While disco may no longer dominate the dance floor, its influence can still be felt in today's vibrant and varied club scenes. Nightlife has evolved, but how about communication?
Telegram. Who is it for?
Mrs. Rose Sandoval, 1129 G Street.
Sending telegrams. Telegrams were a common method of sending urgent messages in the 1970s. People used them to communicate important news quickly. A messenger could deliver the telegram, often leading to a sense of urgency and importance when it arrived. Instant digital messaging has made telegrams ancient. Emails, texting, and social media platforms offer much faster and more convenient ways to communicate. These modern methods allow us to send messages instantly, no matter where we are. Urgent communication is now instantaneous, making it easier to stay connected with others. We no longer have to wait for a messenger to deliver a telegram, but instead, we can reach out to anyone, anywhere, and at any time. This shift has transformed how we share information, making communication faster and more efficient. The days of waiting for a telegram are long gone, replaced by the speed and convenience of digital messaging. From urgent messages to building materials, let's look at another change.
Practical uses of asbestos are very numerous. At least 18,000 articles are made of it.
Using asbestos in home construction. Asbestos was widely used in building materials in the 1970s due to its durability and fire resistance. Commonly found in insulation, roofing, and even floor tiles, builders valued it for its ability to withstand high temperatures while insulating properties. Recognized as a severe health hazard, asbestos has been largely banned or phased out in construction. Exposure to asbestos fibers can cause serious health issues, including lung cancer and mesothelioma. As awareness of these dangers grew, regulations were put into place to limit its use. Safer alternatives are now used in construction, significantly reducing the risk of asbestos-related health problems. Modern materials offer similar benefits without the dangerous side effects, leading to healthier living environments. The transition away from asbestos has made homes and buildings safer for occupants, reflecting a broader commitment to public health and safety. Building materials became more safe, but what about shopping rewards?
That's why we give S&H green stamps. Not just any stamp, S&H green stamps.
By collecting green stamps. Green stamps were a popular retail reward system in the 1970s. Customers would collect these stamps when making purchases at participating stores, and once they accumulated enough of them, they could redeem them for various products from a catalog, ranging from household items to toys. Loyalty cards and digital reward programs have replaced trading stamps. These modern systems are easier to use and manage, allowing customers to track their rewards digitally. No more licking stamps and then sticking them in booklets. Now, points accumulate automatically with each and every purchase. Modern reward systems are more convenient and offer a wider range of benefits. Customers enjoy the ease of digital tracking and the variety of rewards that are available. This shift has streamlined the way that we earn and redeem rewards, making it a seamless part of the shopping experience. Green stamps have become a nostalgic memory, replaced by more efficient and user-friendly programs. From stamps to digital points. Lastly, we'll talk about the most interesting thing, cable TV.
You know, there are still a few people around who think that waterbeds won't cut it. Well, Waterbed Creations, we can cut it.
Waterbeds. These liquid-filled mattresses were all the rage in the 80s, promising a unique sleeping experience. At their peak, waterbeds accounted for about 20% of the mattress market in the United States. They were seen as the epitome of modern, cool bedroom decor, especially popular amongst bachelors. Waterbeds offered customizable firmness and even heating options for those cold nights. Some people swore by them for back pain relief. However, they came with their own share of problems. They were heavy and difficult to move and always carried the risk of springing a leak. Installation and maintenance were complicated, which often required specialized service. As more advanced mattress technology emerged, offering comfort without the hassle, waterbeds fell out of favor. And now, while you can still find them, they're more of a novelty than a common bedroom fixture. We may have more comfortable and practical sleeping options now, but they remain a unique symbol of 1980s home decor.
Renting video shouldn't be a game of skill or luck, and it's not at Home Video Express.
Renting VHS tapes at video stores. Remember the excitement of going to the local video store? It was a weekend ritual for many families. You'd walk in greeted by rows of VHS tapes, each with colorful covers that promised a great movie night. The joy of browsing the aisles, picking up potential choices, and finally settling for the perfect film was unmatched. The anticipation built as you rushed home, popped the tape into the VCR, and settled in for a cozy evening. This experience was more than just renting a movie. It was all about the thrill of the hunt and shared moments with family and friends. The video store was a community hub, a place where you may bump into neighbors and discuss the latest releases. And those simple trips to rent a VHS tape created long-lasting memories. Speaking of storage, remember how we used to save our files? Stingray bicycles. Stingray bicycles were an iconic part of childhood for many during the 60s and 70s. Known for their unique design, these bikes featured banana seats, high-rise handlebars, and smaller wheels, giving them a distinct chopper-like appearance. They were highly popular among young riders who loved the cool, laid-back style that set them apart from traditional bicycles. Riding a Stingray bike was more than just a mode of transportation. It was a statement of individuality and freedom. Kids would customize their bikes with accessories like streamers, spoke beads, and sissy bars, making each one unique. The lightweight frame and agile handling made them perfect for performing tricks and stunts, adding to their appeal. These bikes were often seen cruising through neighborhoods, with groups of children forming impromptu riding gangs. The Stingray bike culture fostered a sense of camaraderie and adventure as kids explored their surroundings and pushed the limits of their riding skills. Although the popularity of Stingray bicycles has waned over the years, they remain a symbol of a bygone era. Collectors and enthusiasts still seek them out, cherishing the memories and the sense of freedom they once represented. The legacy of the Stingray bicycle lives on as a reminder of the simple joys and boundless imagination of youth.
Anti-static flex shutter. Reliability and durability are guaranteed.
Using floppy disks for storage. Floppy disks were once the primary means of data storage and transfer. These small and plastic squares were essential for saving documents, pictures, and programs, and the most common size was the 3.5-inch floppy. Each disk had limited storage, usually just enough for a few files, and upgrading to a high-density 1.44 megabyte disk was a big deal back then. Every computer had a floppy disk drive, and using them required careful handling. You had to slide the metal shutter and insert the disk into the drive, and then wait for that familiar whirring sound as the computer read your data. It was a slow process, but felt revolutionary at the time. Floppy disks were a significant part of early computing, serving as a bridge to modern storage solutions. And today, they're a nostalgic reminder of how far we've come in technology.
His cell phone off, a SkyTel operator converts the caller's message to text and sends it right to his pager.
Using pagers. Before mobile phones became widespread, pagers were the go-to for urgent communication. These small devices were simple and effective, allowing people to send short messages to one another. When a pager beeped, it meant you had to find a phone and call the sender back as soon as possible. The simplicity of pagers was their strength. The short beep and numeric message were enough to convey urgency, and they were widely used by doctors, emergency workers, and anyone who needed to be reachable at all times. Rushing to the nearest payphone to return a page would be a common scene in the 1980s. Pagers represented a critical step in the evolution of communication, providing a lifeline in urgent situations. Though they're now obsolete, their impact on how we stay connected is undeniable. Communication wasn't the only thing that's changed. How about developing photos? Developing film at photomats. In the 1980s, developing film at a photomat was a common experience. These tiny and iconic kiosks were often found in parking lots, making it convenient to drop off your rolls of film. The process was simple. You hand over your film, get a receipt, and wait a few days for your photos to be developed. The anticipation of seeing how your pictures turned out was a part of the thrill. Would they capture the moments just as you remembered? Picking up the developed photos was always an exciting event. You'd flip through the prints right then and there, reliving the memories while sharing them with friends and family. Photomats played a significant role in preserving memories. They were more than just kiosks. They were gateways to moments that are frozen in time and cherished by many.
Sony introduces the only cassette player as small as a cassette case.
Playing music on Walkmans. In the 1980s, the Sony Walkman revolutionized how we listen to music. It offered freedom and portability that was unprecedented for the time. and you could take your favorite tunes everywhere, whether it be a jog in the park or a ride on the bus. Creating mixtapes became a beloved activity. You'd spend hours picking out the perfect songs, recording them onto a cassette, and then swapping the tapes with friends. Each mixtape was a personalized journey, a way to share your musical tastes with others, and putting on the lightweight headphones and pressing play would transport you to a different world. It became an escape, a personal concert right there in your ears, making long commutes and everyday activities that much more enjoyable. While listening to music has evolved, what about our in-flight habits?
So far, the only definite order will require the airlines to set up a third passenger section. No longer will smoking and non-smoking sections be enough.
Smoking in airplanes. In the 1980s, smoking on an airplane would be a common sight. Flights had designated smoking sections, and passengers could light up mid-air. The smell of smoke often filled the cabin, drifting from the smoking area to the non-smoking seats, and it was an accepted part of flying, though it did make the air inside the plane less pleasant for everyone. Over time, growing awareness of the risks associated with secondhand smoke would lead to changes in regulations. Gradually, airlines began banning smoking on domestic flights, followed by international routes. By the late 1990s, smoking on commercial flights was almost entirely prohibited, improving the air quality and comfort for all passengers. These changes in health regulations reflected a more broad shift towards protecting public health, and today, the idea of smoking on an airplane seems almost unimaginable, a stark contrast to the norms of the 1980s. But there's one more thing from the 80s that truly transformed our daily routines. Stay with us until the end to find out.
The Pioneer combination CD Laserdisc player with a 60% sharper picture than most VCRs.
Watching Laserdisc movies. Laserdiscs were the cutting-edge technology for home movies before DVDs took over. These large discs offered superior video and audio quality compared to VHS tapes, making them a prized possession for movie enthusiasts. Watching a film on Laserdisc felt like a special event due to the enhanced clarity and sound. However, Laserdiscs were quite large, and a full-length movie often required multiple discs. This meant having to swap out discs during movie marathons, adding a bit of an intermission to your viewing experience. Despite this inconvenience, the novelty and high quality of Laserdiscs made them a sought-after format for collectors and cinephiles. Laserdiscs paved the way for the DVDs that would be soon to follow, setting a new standard for home entertainment. And their impact on how we consume movies would be significant, even if their reign was relatively short-lived. Movies weren't the only things we made ourselves. Remember mixtapes?
Now, the making of a good compilation tape is a very subtle art. Many do's and don'ts.
Making mixtapes. Creating mixtapes was a beloved hobby in the 1980s. The art involved carefully selecting and recording songs onto a cassette tape and crafting a personalized music collection. People spent hours recording songs from the radio, perfectly timing them to avoid the DJ's voice and arranging the tracks in just the right order. Mixtapes were more than just collections of songs. They were expressions of emotion, moods, and messages. And giving a mixtape to someone would be a heartfelt gesture. Whether it was for a friend, a crush, or a family member, each tape had a unique and sentimental value, reflecting the effort and thought put into its creation. The joy of listening to a mixtape, knowing that it was made just for you, was a truly special thing, and it captured moments and feelings in a way that digital playlists will never be able to replicate.
42% of people 16 years or older use a pay telephone at least once a month. Those are the figures.
Using payphones. In the 1980s, payphones were a common sight on street corners and in public places, essential for making calls away from home. People often carried change specifically to use payphones, with quarters and dimes ready for that all-important call. Finding a payphone in an emergency provided a sense of relief, whether it was to call a friend for a ride, contact family, or even report a problem. Payphones were a lifeline. They were reliable and could be found in almost any location, making it easy to stay connected even when away from home. Payphones played a crucial role in daily communication before the age of mobile phones, ensuring that help or a friendly voice was never too far away. They're a nostalgic reminder of how we used to stay in touch. Our toys have changed a lot. Remember He-Man and She-Ra?
The Master of Disaster, Hurricane Hordak. New from the Masters of the Universe.
Playing with He-Man and She-Ra action figures. In the 1980s, He-Man and She-Ra action figures were the crown jewels of many toy collections. Children everywhere would spend hours creating epic battles and grand adventures with these iconic characters. Whether it was He-Man fighting Skeletor or She-Ra saving the day, these toys fueled imagination and storytelling. The excitement of playing with He-Man and She-Ra was not only about the toys themselves, but a vast and magical world that they represented. Each action figure brought to life a piece of the vibrant and fantastical universe of Eternia and Etheria, making playtime an epic saga every day. Over time, these toys became beloved collectibles. Adults who grew up with He-Man and She-Ra now treasure these figures as nostalgic symbols of their childhood, and they hold a special place in the hearts of many, reminding us all of more simple and imaginative times. But toys weren't the only thing that was different back then. MTV. When MTV launched in 1981 with the words "Ladies and Gentlemen Rock and Roll," it revolutionized how we enjoyed music. MTV brought music videos into our homes 24/7, turning songs into visual experiences and artists into cultural icons. Who could forget the premiere of Michael Jackson's Thriller or the controversy surrounding Madonna's Like a Prayer? MTV wasn't only about music. It shaped fashion trends, influenced the youth culture, and even impacted politics with its Rock the Vote campaign. The anticipation of waiting for your favorite video to play was just part of the experience. However, as MTV began to shift towards reality television programming in the late 90s and early 2000s, and as the internet made music videos readily available on demand, its influence as a music channel waned. Now, while MTV still exists, it's a far cry from the music video powerhouse that it once was.
Stereo and TV unite to bring you video music in stereo 24 hours.
Watching MTV for music videos. In the 1980s, MTV was the ultimate destination for music lovers, a hub where the latest music videos premiered, introducing audiences to new artists and hits. The launch of MTV brought iconic videos that defined the decade, from Michael Jackson's Thriller to Madonna's Like a Virgin. Music fans spent hours glued to their televisions, waiting to catch their favorite videos. And MTV wasn't only about the music. It became a cultural phenomenon that shaped fashion, trends, and attitudes. The vivid imagery and creative storytelling of the videos made them an essential part of the music experience. MTV provided a visual and audio treat, making music a multi-sensory adventure. And it played a significant role in the careers of many artists, cementing their status as pop culture icons. We've got one last blast from the past that you don't want to miss. Stick around until the end to see what it is.
Unveiled the newly restored map and rededicated it to the public.
Taking road trips with paper maps. In the 1980s, road trips often meant navigating with large paper maps. Unfolding these maps to plot a course and then trying to refold them would be a challenge on its own, yet it was part of the adventure. Using a paper map required skill and patience. It was a fun and sometimes tricky task to trace the route while identifying landmarks, and families often bonded over map reading, with parents teaching children how to find their way and making collective decisions about which route to take. This hands-on navigation created a sense of accomplishment when you reached your destination, and it also led to unexpected detours and discoveries, making the journey itself an integral part of the experience. Mapping out routes isn't the only skill from back then. How about programming?
Changing computers, making them as familiar as yesterday's alphabet.
Programming in BASIC on home computers. In the 1980s, home computers like the Commodore 64 introduced many to the world of programming with BASIC. The beginner's language was a gateway to creating simple programs and games, and writing code line by line and seeing it come to life on the screen was a thrilling experience. For many, programming in BASIC was their first taste of computer science, The sense of accomplishment from making a computer perform tasks that you designed was immense. Whether it be a basic calculator or a simple game, every successful program was a victory. These early experiences laid the foundation for lifelong interest in technology and coding, and BASIC made programming accessible and fun, sparking creativity and problem-solving skills.
What you've actually done is bought a one-way ticket to the answering machine zone.
Using cassette answering machines. In the 1980s, cassette-based answering machines were a common household item. These machines recorded missed calls on small cassette tapes, and hearing the familiar beep and leaving a message would be a routine part of daily life. Listening to messages required rewinding and fast-forwarding the tape to find the right spot. It was a bit of a chore, but also a way to catch up on missed conversation. Each message was a tiny slice of life captured on magnetic tape, and these answering machines provided a crucial link to the outside world. They would ensure you'd never missed an important call, even when you were out. The tapes became little archives of personal history, preserving voices and moments in time. Speaking of school days, remember film strips?
Teresa? Her brain? Yes. Owls look wise.
Watching educational film strips in class. In the 1980s, educational film strips were a staple in classrooms. The visual aids provided a break from traditional teaching methods and offered a dynamic way to learn. The anticipation of dimming the lights and watching a film strip added excitement to the school day. They were simple yet effective and presented information in a visual format that was easy to understand and remember. Teachers would play the film strip while narrating or even discussing the content, making the lessons more engaging. These visual learning aids help students to grasp complex concepts while retaining information much better. And the combination of images and spoken words made learning more interactive and fun. Film strips were an essential part of education, bridging the gap between textbooks and modern multimedia tools. And there's one more iconic 80s activity that had everyone moving and grooving coming up at the end. Paper maps. Let's unfold our next topic, the paper map. Before GPS and smartphones, these were essential for any road trip or journey into unfamiliar territory. Paper maps required skill to read and interpret, making map reading a valuable skill. They also offered a broader perspective of your journey, allowing you to see your entire route at once. Family road trips would often involve bonding over map reading, with parents teaching children how to navigate. However, with the advent of GPS devices and later the smartphone navigation apps, paper maps became less necessary. While they're still in use in certain situations and appreciated by enthusiasts, for most people, digital navigation has replaced the trusty paper map. We may have lost some of the adventure of potentially getting lost, but we've gained the convenience of real-time directions and traffic updates.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
Driving without seatbelt laws. In the 1980s, many places did not have the mandatory seatbelt laws. It would be common to see drivers and passengers without them because the risks were not fully realized. Cars were designed without the emphasis on seatbelt safety that we see today, and gradually, awareness of the importance of seatbelts would grow. Studies showed that wearing seatbelts significantly reduced injury and fatalities in accidents, which would lead to the gradual implementation of seatbelt regulations, starting with front seat occupants and eventually extending to all passengers. Public safety campaigns played a crucial role in changing attitudes towards seatbelt use, and over time, wearing a seatbelt became a standard practice, deeply ingrained in our daily routines. These changes marked a significant shift in public safety awareness, saving countless lives in the end. From driving to finding contacts, remember the phone book?
Way back when, the pages, big and bulky, yellow and white.
Using phone books. In the 1980s, phone books were essential tools for finding contact information. These hefty volumes contained extensive listings of individuals and businesses, making them invaluable for anyone needing a phone number. Flipping through the pages of a phone book was a routine task. Whether you were looking for a friend's number or trying to contact a local business, a phone book had it all. The white pages listed residential numbers, while the yellow pages were dedicated to businesses and services. And despite their weight and bulk, phone books were household staples. They sat by the phone, ready for whenever you needed to make a call. They were an indispensable part of daily life long before the internet and smartphones had made such searches instantaneous.
Exercise and weight control. For your free copy, write Consumer Catalog, Pueblo.
Shopping from catalogs. In the 1980s, printed catalogs from companies like Sears were a popular way to shop from home. The thick and colorful catalogs were packed full of everything from clothing to appliances, and flipping through the pages, circling desired items, and making a wish list was a common pastime. The excitement of browsing these catalogs would be unmatched. Each turn of the page would reveal new products and possibilities. And once you decided your selections, you could then place an order by mail or by phone, patiently waiting for the purchases to arrive. Shopping from catalogs was a convenient and enjoyable experience, especially before the internet made online shopping possible. And these catalogs brought the store to your doorstep, offering a wide range of products in one place.
Strong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along.
Participating in aerobics classes. In the 1980s, aerobics classes became a fitness craze. Colorful spandex outfits, leg warmers, and energetic instructors were the hallmark of these classes. People flocked to gymnasiums and community centers to join aerobic sessions, inspired by the upbeat music and lively routines. Fitness videos gained popularity, with instructors such as Jane Fonda leading the way. These videos allowed people to work out from home, making fitness accessible to everyone. And the fun and vibrant atmosphere of aerobics made exercising both enjoyable and social. Over time, fitness trends have evolved, but the impact of aerobics on fitness culture remains significant, and it introduced the concept of group exercise and made working out a mainstream activity. Aerobics laid the foundation for many modern fitness trends, promoting health and well-being in a fun and engaging way. Back in the 1960s, hitchhiking was a common way to get around. People would stand by the roadside, thumb out, hoping for a ride. It was seen as an adventure and a practical way to travel long distances without spending much money. However, times have changed, and today hitchhiking is rare due to safety concerns. Stories of crimes and accidents involving hitchhikers have made people wary of picking up strangers. The increased availability of affordable public transport and ride-sharing apps has also reduced the need for hitchhiking. What was once a symbol of freedom and adventure has now become a risky and often discouraged practice. Safety is now a higher priority, and many prefer the security of known transportation methods. The open road is still there, but the hitchhiking culture has largely faded away. Recording songs from the radio was a cherished activity and practical necessity for music lovers during the late 20th century, especially in the 1980s and 1990s. Before digital music and streaming services, people used cassette tapes to capture their favorite songs from radio broadcasts. The process involved using a dual cassette deck or radio cassette recorder to listen to the radio and simultaneously record onto a blank tape. Timing was crucial. Listeners had to be ready to press the record button as soon as a desired song began. Many became adept at anticipating when their favorite tracks would play, often hovering over the device to capture the start of the song perfectly. Radio DJs' announcements helped listeners prepare for upcoming tracks. With the advent of digital technology, recording songs from the radio has become obsolete. However, for those who experienced it, the memory of eagerly waiting for a favorite song and the satisfaction of capturing it on tape remains a nostalgic reminder of a simpler time in music history. This ritual reflects the evolution of music consumption and the creativity and resourcefulness of music fans in an analog era.
We could tell you that Pioneer's PL518 probably offers today.
Music lovers in the 1960s cherished vinyl records. These large discs were the primary format for listening to music, filling homes with rich analog sounds of the era's greatest hits. Each record offered a tactile experience, from the care needed to handle them to the distinct sound of the needle hitting the grooves. Despite their dominance, vinyl records have largely been replaced by digital formats. The convenience of streaming services and the portability of digital files have made vinyl less common. However, a niche market still exists for vinyl enthusiasts who appreciate the unique sound quality and nostalgia. Record stores and special editions keep this format alive, but it remains a small segment of the music industry. The shift from vinyl to digital highlights the technological advances and changing consumer preferences over the decades, reflecting a major transformation in how we now consume music.
It's an RCA Victor, lightweight, handsome two-tone color combinations.
Black and white screens. Television in its early days lacked the vibrant colors that we take for granted today. Families would sit together, eyes glued to black and white screens, enjoying the latest shows and news broadcasts. Color televisions existed, but were a luxury that few could afford. Programming often made clever use of light and shadow to create engaging visuals in monochrome. As the price of color TVs dropped, more households began to replace their old sets. This shift dramatically enhanced the viewing experience, bringing life and vivid imagery into the home. Today, it's hard to find a black and white TV, as color has become the standard. This transformation from black and white to color television marks a significant leap in technology and reflects the changing tastes of audiences. The era of black and white TV is now a nostalgic memory, illustrating how much our entertainment technology has evolved.
And a log of 236 plus 1.008 to the ninth.
For decades, slide rules were indispensable tools for engineers and students. These analog devices allowed users to perform complex calculations by sliding a central strip between marked scales. Mastering the slide rule was a rite of passage in technical fields requiring skill and practice. However, the advent of electronic calculators in the 1970s began to render slide rules obsolete. Calculators offered greater accuracy and speed, making them a more practical choice for professionals and students alike. Today, computers and advanced software have taken over most calculation tasks, providing even more power and convenience. Slide rules, once a symbol of engineering prowess, are now seen as a collector's item or educational curiosity. The transition from slide rules to electronic calculators and computers reflects the rapid advancements in technology and the ongoing quest for efficiency in mathematical and scientific work. This shift has transformed how we approach problem solving and technical education.
It started in 1933 with our first electric. Then came typing that looked like printing.
Before the era of electric typewriters and computers, manual typewriters were the mainstay in offices and homes. These mechanical devices required physical effort to press each and every key, and their distinctive clacking sounds filled workspaces. Typing on a manual typewriter demanded accuracy, as mistakes meant starting over or using correction tape. Despite the challenges, they were essential for producing documents, letters, and manuscripts. With the introduction of the electric typewriter, the typing process became more efficient and less strenuous. Eventually, computers revolutionized writing and editing, offering unparalleled speed and flexibility. And today, manual typewriters are largely obsolete, cherished by collectors and nostalgia enthusiasts. They serve as a reminder of a time when writing was a more tactile and deliberate process, and the evolution from manual typewriters to modern digital tools highlights the significant advancements in technology and productivity, showcasing how our methods of communication and document creation have transformed over the decades. Reading newspapers, print, and breakfast. Starting the day with a print newspaper and breakfast was a cherished morning ritual for many. The act of sipping coffee or tea while perusing the latest news in a physical newspaper provided a moment of calm and connection to the world. This routine was not just about staying informed, it was a tactile experience involving the feel of the paper and the smell of ink. During this time, people would catch up on current events, sports scores, and weather forecasts, often discussing these topics with family members over the breakfast table. It was a way to ease into the day, gradually transitioning from the tranquility of home to the busyness of the outside world. This tradition also fostered a sense of community, as people shared the same news stories and headlines, creating common ground for conversation and debate. The physical newspaper served as a focal point for interaction, bringing people together in a shared activity. While digital news and mobile devices have largely replaced print newspapers, the nostalgia for this morning ritual remains. It symbolizes a slower, more deliberate pace of life, where starting the day meant engaging thoughtfully with the world around you.
The habit of smoking is just a part of everyday life.
Decades ago, smoking in public places was a common sight. Restaurants, offices, and even airplanes allowed smoking, and non-smokers had little choice but to endure the fumes. Cigarette advertisements were widespread, and smoking was often portrayed as glamorous and sophisticated. However, as the health risks associated with smoking became more evident, public attitudes began to shift. Governments introduced strict laws to limit smoking in public spaces, aiming to protect non-smokers from secondhand smoke. Today, smoking bans are enforced in many countries, and designated smoking areas are often the only place where smoking is permitted. These regulations have significantly reduced smoking rates while improving public health, and the change from widespread acceptance to strict regulation highlights the growing awareness of health and safety issues. Smoking in public places, once the norm, is now largely restricted, reflecting a major shift in societal attitudes and health policies over the years.
Monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep.
There was a time when drive-in theaters were the go-to spot for a night out. Families and couples would drive to these outdoor cinemas, park their cars, and enjoy movies under the stars. The large screens and the novelty of watching from the comfort of your vehicle made drive-ins incredibly popular. Snacks from the concession stand and the social atmosphere added to the experience. However, the rise of modern indoor cinema, with their advanced sound systems and comfortable seating, led to a decline in drive-ins. Additionally, the convenience of home streaming services has made it easier to watch movies without leaving the house. And today, drive-in theaters are a rare sight, often cherished for their nostalgic value rather than as a primary entertainment venue. The shift from drive-ins to indoor cinemas and streaming highlights the changes in technology and lifestyle, reflecting how our ways of enjoying movies have evolved over the decades. Earlier than the advent of photocopy machines and digital copies, carbon paper was the go-to method for creating duplicates. Placed between two sheets of paper, carbon paper transferred the imprint from the top sheet to the one below as you wrote on it or typed. This simple yet effective method was widely used in offices, schools, and for personal documents, and with the introduction of photocopiers in the 1970s, making copies became much easier and more efficient. Photocopiers could produce multiple copies quickly, without the mess and limitations of carbon paper. Digital technology further revolutionized document duplication, allowing instant copying and sharing with only a few clicks. Today, carbon paper is mostly obsolete, replaced by more advanced and convenient methods, and the transition from carbon paper to modern copying technologies highlights the incredible advancements in office tools and the continuous drive for efficiency in everyday tasks.
Statistics show that in Britain last year, drink played a part in 13,000 fatal or serious accidents.
Not too long ago, seeing people drinking alcohol in public was quite the norm. Whether at a park, a beach, or on a city street, social gatherings often included open consumption of alcohol. The casual approach to public drinking was widely accepted. However, rising concerns over public safety and disorderly behavior led to the implementation of open container laws. These laws aim to curb alcohol-related issues by prohibiting the consumption of alcohol in a public space. Drinking is mainly restricted to bars, restaurants, and private events, and the change in public habits reflects a broader societal shift towards promoting safety and order. Today's regulations are a significant departure from the more relaxed attitudes of the past, and the transition to stricter control over public alcohol consumption underscores the growing emphasis on community well-being and maintaining public decorum, illustrating how societal norms and priorities have evolved.
Great new camera. Gives you big black and white pictures.
Once the primary means of capturing images, film cameras were a staple in photography. Loading film rolls, snapping photos, and waiting for development were all part of the process, creating a unique experience for photographers. However, the advent of digital cameras revolutionized the industry. Digital cameras allow for instant photo review and easy adjustments, making photography more accessible and convenient. This technological leap quickly overshadowed film cameras, leading to their decline in mainstream use. Today, digital cameras and smartphones dominate the photography landscape, offering a seamless and immediate way to capture and share moments. Film cameras have found a niche amongst enthusiasts who appreciate their distinct aesthetic and hands-on approach, and the transition from film to digital photography underscores the rapid advancements in technology and the changing ways we document our lives, highlighting the evolution from anticipation to instant gratification.
It's a Tupperware party, and it's really fun. The girls get together and meet their old friends and make some new ones.
In the 1960s, Tupperware parties were a popular social event. Friends and neighbors would gather in someone's home to see demonstrations of the latest Tupperware products. These parties were not just about buying kitchen containers, they were also a chance to socialize while enjoying each other's company. The host would showcase the durability and usefulness of the Tupperware, often leading to lively discussions and enthusiastic purchases. As shopping habits changed, the popularity of Tupperware parties declined, and the rise of online shopping and retail stores made it easier to buy those products without attending a party. Today, these gatherings are rare, and the concept of home product demonstrations has evolved. The decline of Tupperware parties reflects broader changes in social interactions and consumer behavior, highlighting how convenience and technology have transformed the way we shop and socialize over the decades.
TV Guide, with the most complete listings, expanding cable coverage, and in-depth articles.
Back in the day, TV Guide magazines were essential for planning your television viewing. Each week, households would receive these magazines filled with listings of TV shows, movie schedules, and special broadcasts. Flipping through the pages to find out what was on and when was a common practice, making TV Guide a staple in many homes. With the advent of digital technology, TV listings moved online and became more accessible through electronic program guides on our TVs and streaming services. This shift made it easier to find and schedule viewing without the need for a physical magazine, and today, the concept of a printed TV guide seems almost archaic, as digital platforms provide real-time updates and personalized recommendations. The transition from print to digital listings highlights the significant changes in how we consume media, reflecting the broader trend towards instant access and convenience in our daily lives.
Listen to this, John. According to this book, Madrid is 24 miles in diameter.
There was a time when Saturday morning cartoons were the highlight of the week for many children. Kids would jump out of bed early, eager to catch their favorite animated shows, and this ritual made Saturday morning special, with a lineup of cartoons that aired exclusively on that day. It was a chance for kids to unwind and enjoy a few hours of fun programming before the day began. Today, the way that children watch cartoons is transformed. Streaming services allow access to a vast library of shows at any time, eliminating the need to wait for Saturday. This convenience has changed viewing habits, making entertainment more accessible, but also removing the unique anticipation of Saturday morning cartoons. The shift from scheduled broadcast to on-demand streaming highlights how technology has reshaped our media consumption, offering instant access and flexibility while altering traditional viewing experiences.